welcome back to Contact, a Space Engineers series where I am going out to, well, fight some things. And speaking of fighting, we have our, latest battle acquisition, sort of our first battle acquisition, I suppose, this little green thing, which I have not done anything to aside from, take over, so, yeah, it's still here. We have the Stingray. Let me go to the front of the Stingray for that beautiful silhouette. Yeah, so this thing in its first little voyage did pretty well. There were some, some pre-planning things that sort of didn't get pre-planned, like having supplies on board to repair the damage that it's designed to be able to repair. But we can get that done before we go after maybe those guys if they're still there, or I may go to a new one if a new one appears. But I think first order of business, I'm probably not going to go ahead and, well, I will scrap this eventually, but I'm not going to do that now. But I am going to get it hooked up with a connector somewhere, probably on the bottom of this tank, so we can drain the hydrogen out of it, so that the base has more hydrogen on it. So I'll just go ahead, free it. Yeah, just a connector right on here should be good. And I'm not sure, I may put it in the repair gantry, which I guess sort of makes sense as a deconstruction gantry as well as a construction. So, let's get, worm our way back inside. Like that. This may not be strictly necessary, but there may be some, weird gravity, because I'm going to have to dock this thing sideways. So, we take control with our remote. Oh, right, and I can't go into third person either. Oh. If I can't go into third person, this is going to be tricky. Oh, I guess, actually, hold on.
Energy
It won't be
low.
tricky at all. I don't need to be on board the ship to control it remotely. In fact, I'm just over here. Yeah. Look at me flying my little RC spaceship. Now, can I do this? Unfortunately, I can look up and down, but I can't turn my head. Yeah, we'll turn our head.
Low.
It's a slight drawback to this style of flying. Another being, you kind of have to, you're doing it like a RC plane, so you have to figure out the ship's orientation versus, what buttons you're pressing.
Energy critical.
Alright. In position, docked. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, it's not happy about this. Good thing this happens. Whoa. Yeah, so that's why it's important to always turn dampeners off.
Energy
when
critical.
connecting a ship to, well, a subgrid or kind of anything. If the thing you're connecting to is not a static grid, turn off your dampeners, because otherwise they panic. Okay, anyway. Let's tell this to... no, I have to tell other things to stockpile. I can do that from in here. Look at all the multicolored tanks. Alright, that is draining. That should be good. It may... these ships should not be affected. I may be currently draining... Nope. Baby Beluga is good. How are... the tanks on here might be draining. Not that it's as important on this ship. Yeah. So let's turn those on stockpile as well. So we'll fill up the Stingray. Got plenty of oxygen on board. Okay. Well, with that docked up, things fueling around, the next step before I can go off for war and glory is I need a fish. Not just any fish. This is going to be specifically a little suckerfish remora fella to go along with my Stingray and my other various aquatic space vessels to work as a little tugboat. I'm doing this mainly because someone suggested the name, and now I have to build something that fits the name because it's perfect. So my plan here is going to be fairly simple. And I've been playing slightly too much Space Engineers 2, so I keep trying to rotate blocks wrong. The gist of this is going to be fairly compact little ship, but compact little ship with a lot of thrust. Because the whole idea is this thing goes and essentially locks onto a ship and provides the thrust it needs to move. And I don't think I like this layout. Alright, and just like that, the Remora is finished. Definitely, well, it's an interesting shape. Interesting sort of styling to it. The gist of it is fairly straightforward. So there's a mag plate down here, which I probably want. I actually probably want the ability to toggle whether that's on auto lock or not. So I'll have that. Put our camera. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, the gist is mag lock to connect to things. Thrusters all around. I have the lifting thrust sort of intentionally raised up to provide some clearance so that if I dock to something big, hopefully it doesn't cook it. And it sort of gives it these weird gull wing things, which, looking at the actual shape of the Remora fish, this sort of is the shape if it then had a long tail that this one doesn't. So it's like the head of a Remora. But there's some, yeah, there's some styling vibes going on. And we've got cameras. I have a remote control in here. I figured it may be handy. Oh, okay. There are also 3 gyroscopes on board, so that's why it can move like nobody's business. Yeah, so I have a remote. That way I can theoretically control this from, you know, anywhere. So if I need to be like standing on the deck connecting something to a mag plate, I can. Yeah, so I have a camera on board. I have a second camera, which is well, not in a super convenient spot, but just up from here is the mag plate. I actually have an idea for that too. Yeah, so if I have one of these transparent LCDs, I can then, so text and images, this is gonna get a little weird. If I just do, maybe not that, yeah, perfect, little uppy arrow, then align that to center, so you can see there's a tiny little arrow in view of the camera. So if I remote in, switch to that camera, let's go and up our font size. We should, in the upper part of the screen here, be able to eventually see an arrow. Okay, then maybe not. Okay, interesting. Apparently this idea doesn't work. So the arrow should be visible. I guess either... Actually, my theory is that the camera, the actual position, because in theory with where the lens of the camera is, you should see the blocks around it anyway. I think at least on small grid, this camera, the position, the actual, you know, where your view goes camera is at the opposite end of the block. Meaning I'm basically viewing from inside this panel, like right on its surface. So, you know, didn't work, but a good thing to check. So anyway, last thing, let's go in and... So I have these other two gyroscopes, which for general use, I'm going to have off. Yeah, so then it handles pretty normally. Can move like nobody's business. This thing's pretty sprightly. To the point, if it weren't, you know, so exposed in important bits, I'd consider tossing some guns on it and having it be sort of a, you know, cargo carrying fighter. It may still get guns eventually, but yeah, it should have enough thrust to move large grid blocks around, which is what it's intended to do. And with the power of event controllers, so I have a normal docking one, which does normal docking things. Then I have a maglock event controller, which the primary job is to turn on those two gyroscopes I just turned off. So, you know, when it's normal and not very heavy, it has a normal amount of gyroscopic power. But when I connect to some big block and need more gyroscopes to move that, those automatically turn on. So yeah, I think this thing is pretty much ready to go. Let's go and dock it, which should be an entertaining looking thing. So the docking port in here is of course on the wall. My plan is to essentially sort of slap myself onto the wall here. There we go. Now the merge, or not the merge block, the mag plate auto-locked, which I don't want. But I also set up, so if I've accidentally locked onto the wall, keep an eye on the hotbar here. When I connect, all the thrusters turn off and the mag plate is unlocked. So I set it up with a safety so that it essentially automatically unlocks anything whenever you connect the connector. Might be a bad idea in the long run. I also forgot to set the batteries up to recharge, but yeah. Yeah, this thing's a bit of a work in progress. We'll see what we want to keep and what we don't. Yeah, it almost looks correct up there. Not quite, you know, not quite in place, but not quite out of place. Now the question is, do I make a catwalk to get up to the cockpit? Or, hold on. Nope. That way. Alternative question. How weird does this look? Cockpit's still not at a super convenient height. Position works. But I can't get into it from the ground without jetpack. Yeah, Remora suckered to ship. So, now the last thing we need to do, and our unidentified signal has moved, which is hard to tell from inside, It's over there now, which is actually probably better because there's not a planet in the way. But with the Remora suckered, the last thing to do is going to be to get a bunch of repair stuff on board. Now that is mainly going to constitute a bunch of steel plate, because in theory, the welders, so long as the guns aren't taking damage rapidly enough, the welders should be able to keep steel plate in and keep that sort of initial armor barrier up. So I don't have to necessarily worry about, you know, maybe I should check what the next thing down when building a turret is. So enlarge grid. Oh. Okay, apparently Gatlings don't have steel at top. Didn't know that. So I want computers on board, some motors on board. Wait, hold on. I could have sworn that, you know, like a door, you have steel plate at the bottom and then a little more steel plate on top to finish it off. I could have sworn. Yeah, they do. Okay, the build planner is wrong. That's interesting. Oh yeah, so it looks like steel plate construction components and maybe a handful of computers for any big hits. Any more than that, and if I take damage to a turret that knocks out more than like half the components, I may just need to leave. Alright. So, we have a large cargo container and then Stingray cargo container. Let's get everything into the large cargo first. Should also probably turn off the onboard refinery here. Because as nice as it is to have it processing stuff, I don't really feel like carrying a bunch of random cobalt into battle. So cargo and refinery. There we go. Alrighty. So we have pretty much 1,000 steel plates and construction components, and then some of these for emergencies. Any other stuff I can, theoretically, if I escape whatever threat I'm in or win, I can salvage and mine and process anything I need. Yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Alrighty. I no longer need these because I set up my bits. Let's undock and head off for adventure. Now, go far enough. There it goes. The piston comes back. Alright, still moving pretty well. Kind of get clear of the asteroid and then make ready. Just double checking. So we're targeting weapons, which is good. Repair systems are on. We've got, oh, okay, the Remora creates some awkward blind spots in there, but we've got it in there. Real quick, blueprint time. Alright. Setting target for unidentified signal. Here we go. Okay. Now I need to start moving. Maybe I don't. We're a kilometer out. Now he's been targeted. Can I see anything on that? Okay. Well, it looks like a base in an asteroid. That is a turret. I can't see anything else. No enemy drones on scope. I believe I'm within range, so let's see what happens. Now, a lot of missing. And I feel like I've hit that a few times. I'd think I'd be down. Let's go ahead and I will lock it. I should automatically target weapons. Okay, the ship seems to think that it is now neutralized. Well, that was easy. In we go. Actually, no. I think for my big, powerful combat ship, I've hit the thrusters twice and then immediately changed my mind. We'll leave the ship here. We should be fairly secure if any drones show up. Let's go in on foot, because I don't fully trust this. That seems way too easy. Unless, of course, this is just like a nothing scrub base, in which case maybe I just chose... Well, I don't even think... The thing I was attacking pretty much had that level of defense. It's just I had much less offense. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, quick cursory glance. I'm not seeing any turrets out here. That doesn't mean there won't be any inside. So we definitely got that gun. I'm being spotlit. Looks like I blasted a hole through the front door, or at least a door. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are those? Yep. Oh boy. Oh boy! Okay, this is the thing I was afraid of. Back to the ship! Oh! Oh no. Okay. This is going poorly. Oh my god. Jump away! Dang it. I need to get in and change my jump target. The armor seems to be mostly holding. Okay, I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna fly backwards. Nope, I don't need to target that. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's not gone well. Right. It's just as we go. Oh boy. Engineering is mostly on fire now. I mean, it cored us like an apple. Oh man. Let's see if we can get home. Yeah, we've lost one drive. I should have probably won. I should have, as soon as I jumped in, set this back to blind jumps and I could escape as needed. Start decelerating and... oh. We jumping? Yes. Oh boy. I don't... why are we not jumping? I think something may be ever so slightly seriously wrong. We still have some reactors. That drive is busted. This one's fine, though. Do wonder, too, I think maybe the defense controller I have on board caused some of that issue. Because it was locked on the base, it wasn't... the turrets were all focused there, and the big guns didn't turn to fire on the enemy. It didn't help that I wasn't on board to, you know, move and angle for combat. I think that whole thing just didn't work out very well. Okay. Right. Well, I think there's something loose on board. It's not the Remora, is it? That would be inconvenient. Nope, that still seems connected, though it may be janked a bit. Oh, it was. Well, that wasn't very nice. It's because that armor deformed into the docked ship, I think. I mean, it looks like there were some bullets that ripped right past it. Yeah, there was some clanginess going on. Oh boy. Well, at least I have easy bridge access. Okay, where's home? There's home. I'm just gonna... we'll just do this manually. The drives don't want to go there. Yeah, reasonably close. Well, I mean, I guess there's going to be a lot of repairing work. I guess I need to get that done before I can go after something else. I have an idea. It's an interesting idea. So the enemies spawned when I got close, like when I got myself in. What if, in addition to the Remora, what if I have a little probe drone? Something that I can, you know, super cheap, lightweight, and expendable. And I just toss in the back, send it in first. That way I can stay in the cockpit of the ship, get a good, you know, good scout in, and hopefully trigger any of those traps before, well, before I go in and leave myself vulnerable to attack. That and is the... Okay, the defensive controller is still here. Let's have an option to turn the behavior of it on and off. So it detects enemies with with weapons. Can set up actions. Huh. Then there's just flee. There's no way to like tell it how close of a thing to attack or to detect. I mean, maybe part of the issue is that I manually locked the station because the AI didn't seem to be doing it. And I'm trying to replay in my head everything that the series of events there and what could have been improved. Because yeah, the front armor, it's definitely taken a beating, but that may have been partially after it got blasted from below. It's still holding up reasonably well. So yeah, at the very least, I'm gonna need some more complex tricks, I think, to deal with those guys. I like my little drone idea. And maybe I do... This is an idea I sort of had in my back pocket for if these events were harder than... Well, as hard as I figured they probably were. Because, I'll be honest, what just happened... I was hoping that it wouldn't happen that way, but I kind of expected that's how it would happen. So I wonder if having a little drone swarm I can launch from this thing would help. Basically a bunch of little cheap throwaway, basically they're missiles with guns on them, that I design and send off. I could even have them automated. So if enemies, well, I don't know, it'd be cool to have them automated so if enemies get within range, they get launched and go attack. But the guns were supposed to work like that, and they didn't really live up to expectations. So maybe that isn't the move. I'm gonna line up to the gantry here a little bit. I've got some other stuff to move. I'll probably get rid of that. Let's real quick, while I've got passion in my heart and fire in my eyes, let's go and build a little attack drone. This little guy is not very stylized, but should do a decent job in combat. So the idea, it'll essentially just fly around, moving and trying to evade the enemy while the turrets can target and hopefully do some damage. I have 2 offensive flight controllers and an event controller. And I'll probably add some more event controllers and such. But the idea here, if either the drone runs out of ammo or, well, if it runs out of power, it's dead regardless. So I guess it's if it runs out of ammo, I will have it set up such that it will change its tactic. So one of these offensive controllers will have it just flitting about, dodging and shooting. The other one will be a ramming attack. So if it runs out of ammo, the drone, or, the guns get destroyed, it should switch to ramming and just fly straight into whatever it's looking at. Not, super great, but these are pretty darn cheap as drones go. And it should help make sure that they are as damaging as possible and avoid them just being floating out there useless. Now, I guess we just put a little shell on. And I may use heavy armor. Do I use heavy armor? I mean, it's a little stronger than normal armor. But with what this thing is going to be up against, one shot's probably going to take it out. Its best bet is going to be avoiding. So the last thing I will do is stick a merge block up there. This is the top of the drone. It can be hard to tell. But with a merge block, this thing can be printed in that ship printer that I have over there that I've not used because I haven't had anything to mass produce. But now I have something to mass produce. Just because I don't use them enough. Let's choose... Yeah. Little AI controller.
Energy low.
For the drone. So yeah, that will be today's episode. Not quite how I'd hoped it would go, but we've got this friendly new face to, to appreciate thanks to that disaster of a combat. And hopefully we will have learned some important things for the next combat. I mean, the biggest thing is just figuring out what each of these places are and what threats they hold. And heck, I didn't even get close enough. That whole, swarm of angry drones thing could have happened at the first one. I just never got close enough to trigger it. So I think we'll do some more poking at the Factorum next time. Hopefully with a whole little army of these drone guys to back us up. But for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye-bye.